For this assignment, we were analyzing our communication systems within our building and the greater population of sharing out with the stakeholders in our community. I chose to use lucid charts to make my thinking and connections visible. I at first would have probably chosen slides or a Google Doc with making my own chart, but this forced me to think in a little bit greater idea outside of the box. Some of the struggles with this were just trying to make sure that I got everyone who's involved in the communication um, illustrated and put onto my chart. And really looking at the strengths, really truly email seems to be the most consistent and strong communication tool that our district and our teachers and administrators and parents and students all use. So it seems to be the most common form of communication. So that in itself is something that stood out to me. So our internal communication system is our teachers, our administrators, our students, our parents. So what makes up that school community? So social media is used by teachers and administrators. Our teachers use it for like professional purposes. A lot of them use it to communicate with their class and share successes and share assignments or readings or things that they would like their kids to be looking at on Twitter. But our administration uses Twitter mostly as that's the main social media outlet that they use to communicate with students and with our parents. So they're able to put out information and videos and links and reminders through Twitter. Our counseling department also uses Twitter to communicate with families. So these are all ways that we stay connected with social media. Email is one way that teachers can regularly communicate with parents. They can communicate with students in the same way, although they generally use the LMS to communicate in a direct message. Administration uses email. They use email to send a newsletter to staff and families every Friday, year-round, so even through the summer. It helps to keep the families connected into what's happening in the school. These two methods are not really a dialogue. They're not a give and take. It's really more informative and keeping people informed. Face-to-face communication for teachers happens with parents at conferences, back to school night, and other events for the school. And administration does face-to-face through our faculty meetings, professional development, and truly our administration is in our classrooms a lot, so they're in our classrooms and talking to us, and they're very visible. So I think that our internal communication system in my particular building, I work in a large district, so looking at my building alone, our internal communication system is very strong, and it promotes openness and transparency with our staff and students and parents and keeps everyone on the same page. Our external communication systems build and protect the reputation is their goal. So our social media presence is on Twitter. They don't use Twitter as much as we do within our building, but it is one way that they can release information to the population, to the parents and the community and stakeholders. Email is also used on a regular basis. They send out e-blasts that are written by our communications director and generally are from and signed from the superintendent. These e-blasts go to teachers in one set and then community and parents in a second e-blast. Our district has been using Thought Exchange, which is a program that allows you to answer a very specific question that is prompted to you by the district or the creator of the Thought Exchange. And then after you have answered your question, then you have an opportunity to rate the answers that other people have submitted. So ultimately our district gets back like the upvotes, and they can see the concerns or questions that the community members have. We have a lot of involved community members when it comes to technology in our district, when it comes to teacher contracts in our district, and currently the whole reopening of schools issue has been something that we've had a lot of feedback from our community. Our news outlets communicate to our communities and our teachers. The Shawnee Post is one that generally releases information that is stuff that they get from teachers who will talk to them or community members that will speak with them. Our school district does not generally give direct interviews with the Shawnee Post, but the district uses like the news stations and the KC Star and the local news stations to give their district message on a larger scale for the news outlets. Finally, we have a website, and on that website, that is probably the best communication that the Board of Education has with our community members and stakeholders. They post all of their agendas, all of their minutes, all of the upcoming items on the agenda, and any additional documents. So they're pretty transparent with what's going to be talked about and then the outcomes of that. Usually the same night that they finish the board meeting, there's a summary sent out to everyone in the district. So I feel as though they're very transparent with what they communicate, talk about, and the decisions that they make. I think ultimately that we could do a better job on a district level of our district internal communication. So the social organization and consciousness of that organization, keeping everybody on the same page and knowing what's happening in the different silos of what really designs a district to work and function effectively. Within my school building, my high school, I feel like our internal communications are strong, but part of my job is also working at the district level. And I feel like a lot of times there are several people doing similar tasks and not recognizing that the task is getting done by multiple people. So I feel like there could be more efficiency in people's jobs and outcomes of product of those tasks if things were more openly communicated and people were able to share their products and share their tasks and what they were getting done.